This is going to be Baron Baptiste Power Flow as I was instructed at my teacher training. So slight modifications to the original Baron Baptiste. If you go get his book, Intro to Power, I think is the name of his book. So just some, like I said, slight modifications to the actual sequence. But this is how we like to flow. So start in child's pose. Take the knees a little bit wider than hip width if that's comfortable. Big toes touch. Hips sink back and down. First couple of minutes here, we are just integrating onto the mat. We are getting into our breath, getting into our body, letting the distracting thoughts and distractions kind of fade away. So we want to first come into pranayama breath, in through the nose, out through the nose. Deep full breath in and total breath out. Just feeling how your body ebbs and flows with the breath. The torso filling with air and the torso emptying. Just try to let everything else fall away and just feel your body breathing and sinking into this pose. Start to make your way up into tabletop pose. Readjust your knees right underneath your hips and your hands right underneath your shoulders and a nice flat back. Now we'll start to connect breath to movement here with some cat-cow. So we'll drop our belly, drop our chest gaze forward on the inhale, and then exhale to cat. Press your back up and round through the shoulders and the back. Now move continuously back and forth with your breath. Inhale to cow, exhale to cat, at the pace of your breath. And let's take 5 or 6 of those, whatever feels nice. We're just really trying to bring some awareness to the connection of the breath to the movement. Spread your fingers wide to ground those hands into the mat. Good. Take a few organic movements if it feels good. Maybe you get a little bit of side to side. Again, this first couple of minutes, we're just really bringing the awareness to the body, maybe loosening any tension, any stress we might still be holding on to. If you're doing this in the morning, maybe you're waking up your body, getting it ready to move for the day. Take one more full round of breath after you press up to cat. And then next inhale, come to tabletop. Next exhale, curl your toes under, send those hips up into downward facing dog. And first down dog of the day, go ahead and pedal your feet a little bit, bending one knee at a time. Again, taking any organic movements here that feels good. Fingertips are spread wide, palms are pressing firmly into the mat. Active through the arms and the shoulders, really driving those hips up high into the sky. And then softening one knee at a time, and stretching each opposite hamstring. Maybe you come up on your tippy toes. Maybe you drop your heels from one side and then back up into the other. Feel a little extra hamstring stretch here. And when this feels complete, start to tippy toe your feet up to meet your hands into forward fold. Take our feet hip width distance here, reach up and clasp each opposite elbow for ragdoll pose. Gently sway side to side. What we're trying to achieve here, we're going to have a strong, solid foundation through the legs, maybe a soft bend in the knees to get that torso all the way down to make contact with our thighs. but we're going to stay here and take a few rounds of breath, and we're going to try to actively relax every muscle in your torso. The legs are active, holding you tall, engaging that gentle sway side to side. But your torso, your shoulders, your chest, your back, your neck, your jaw, everything is relaxing and letting gravity give you a little self-spinal adjustment here. Now we will transition into our first sun salutations A. But before we do so, we're going to prepare to get into pranayama ujjayi breath. So loud, energetic, in through the nose, out through the nose. We're really moving some air here. So heel toe your feet to touch. Let your hands come down to the mat. Exhale all of the air out of your lungs. Inhale forcefully, rise up, Super Tadasana, reach high. Let's clasp our fingers together and press our palms up to the sky on the first one. Take a big inhale. Exhale, side bend to the right. Nice. Inhale back to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale back to center. Take a little back bend and gaze up. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. We're going to pause on the first one and really make sure that we're getting this position correct. Hands can be either right above or below the knees. We're pressing into our thighs. Our back is straight here. So we are gazing out just in front of the mat so our head isn't turned up quite as high. And nice flat spine here. So this is where we want to hit when we hit halfway lift. Take another big inhale. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale up to that halfway lift again. Exhale, chaturanga. So high plank, lower to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Good. Pranayama ujjayi breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Loud and proud. Make a lot of noise with this breath. Move some air in and out, building some energy here. We're really waking up our systems, bringing everything online, getting ready to work. So in the future, throughout the next 16 or so chaturangas, anytime I call chaturanga, you can just skip that whole flow and step straight back into downward facing dog. If you've got low back pain and maybe that up dog to down dog is a little bit uncomfortable, you can just skip that part and step straight back into downward facing dog. Every time I call chaturanga, this is eventually where we're going. All right. Take another big inhale. And then exhale, walk or jump front of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, Super Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Go through your flow. Low plank. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. 3 big deep breaths. Move some air in and out. Good. Last inhale. And exhale. Walk or jump front of the mat. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. And start moving a little bit faster, really picking up the pace, really starting to get our systems online and warmed up. 1 big deep breath in here. Exhale, walk or jump, front of the mat. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, Super Tadasana. Exhale, chair pose. Sink those hips back and down like we're sitting into a chair. Big toes touch, heels are about 1 inch apart. Knees touch. Reaching through your fingertips towards the sky. And then exhaling those hips back and down. You should be able to look down and see your toes if your hips are back far enough. Beautiful. Couple more breaths. Hold the pose, never hold your breath. Throughout today's practice, there'll be a few challenging poses. If you ever feel yourself stressed to the point to where you're having to hold your breath, just go ahead and relax out of it and rejoin when you can. We never want to put our body in a compromised position to where something's hurting or too strenuous to where we can't breathe. Good. One more inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. This time we're going to go through our flow. As soon as she hits downward facing dog, that right leg is going to lift up into the sky and then step forward into high crescent lunge. We're going to reach high through our fingertips. We're going to pull our sternum down and make sure that our spine is neutral. That right knee is out right over the top of the right ankle. That left heel is back up off of the ground where our hips are perfectly square with the front of the mat. Good. Let's bring our arms to cactus and take a slight back bend, and then chaturanga. Go through that flow again. As soon as we hit downward facing dog, that left foot is going to rise up and step through for high crescent lunge, left side. Good. Reaching high, sternum tucked down, left knee out over the left ankle. Beautiful position. One more big deep breath in. Bring those arms to cactus. Little bit of a back bend. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths to reset. Ujjayi breath. Loud and proud with the breath. Your neighbors should hear you breathing. Good. Last inhale. Exhale, walk or jump front of the mat. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, Super Tadasana. Exhale, chair pose. A little bit shorter on this one. We're going to start going through this flow a little bit faster. One more inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Go through that flow. As soon as you hit down dog, right leg lifts, step through, high crescent lunge, inhale up, exhale arms to cactus, inhale back bend, exhale chaturanga. Go through that flow again. Up dog, down dog, left leg up, step, high crescent lunge, inhale, exhale arms to cactus, inhale back bend, exhale chaturanga. Go through that flow. Up dog, down dog. 2 breaths to reset. Deep in through the nose, deep out through the nose. Next, exhale, walk or jump front of the mat. Half lift, fold. Inhale all the way up, Super Tadasana. Exhale into chair pose. 1 big deep breath in, and exhale, forward fold. Half lift, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right leg up and step. High crescent lunge. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, chaturanga. We're going to keep moving on this one. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg up and step. High crescent lunge. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And a couple breaths to reset. Now we're thoroughly warmed up, ready to move. At any point today, if you need to pause and just take a quick little water break, feel free to do so. Warrior series is up next. Inhale, lift that right leg up into the sky. Exhale, step through, warrior 1. High crescent lunge. There we go, nice fix. Warrior 1 and high crescent lunge is very similar. We're shooting for 2 to 3 breaths in each one of these poses. So we're gonna try to keep on pace with that. Bring those hands to prayer center, heart center, and then twist left elbow over that right knee. So here we're going going to do a revolve crescent lunge. So the left hand does come down to the mat and the right hand lifts up into the sky. Breathe deep into this twist. Breathing deep into a twist helps aid in digestion, gives your stomach a little bit of a massage. Open up warrior 2. And breathe. In warrior 2, the hips open to the left side of the mat. That back foot is at 90 degrees. Soften the shoulders down away from the ears, but reach active through the fingertips. Strong and sturdy. Reach back for reverse warrior. Left hand comes to the thigh, right hand reaches up and back. Staying with that Ujjayi breath, in through the nose, out through the nose. Exhale forward into side angle. Right elbow to right knee, left hand reaches up into the sky. You can posture up here and brace against your thigh, or that right hand can come all the way down to the mat. Either one is correct, whatever works for you. Now we're going to transition straight into side plank here. That right hand stays on the mat and the right foot steps back into right side plank. Option to bring your right knee to the ground for modified side plank. A little bit easier. And then we're going to exhale straight into chaturanga from this side plank. So left hand comes down to the mat, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Couple breaths to reset. And now we'll hit all of those on the left side. Inhale, lift that left leg up into the sky. Step through high crescent lunge. Reach high. 2 to 3 breaths in each position. Breathe deep, constricting the back of the throat, making a little bit of noise with every breath. Hands to heart center, prayer twist to the left. Right elbow hooks over that left knee, and breathe deep into that twist. Smash your belly into your thigh here. And breathe deep and fight against that twist. Revolve crescent lunge, right hand down to the mat, left arm floats up into the sky, gaze up if you have the balance. Open up warrior 2. Cartwheel back, set your hips. Hips open totally to the right. Soften the shoulders away from the ears, but actively reach through the fingertips. If anybody ever tries to say that yoga can't strengthen and you have to lift weights, just have them hold warrior 2 for a few minutes. The shoulders start screaming at you pretty fast. Reach back, reverse warrior. Take 2 big deep breaths here. Inhale again. Exhale into that side angle. Good. Couple breaths here. Step that left foot back into side plank. Again, modified side plank if you need to, with that left knee to the mat. Take one more inhale and exhale straight into chaturanga. Roll over into high plank, low plank, up dog, down dog. Beautiful warrior series. Couple of breaths to reset. Anytime we're doing a reset, you can gently just bring your knees down to the mat and take a quick tabletop, couple of cat cows. But we're gonna get right back into it. We're gonna move into triangle series. Inhale that right leg up into the sky. Step through into warrior 1. Warrior 1 is very similar to high crescent lunge. The difference is that left heel is back down on the ground and our foot is planted at about a 45-degree angle. So we are really fighting to get that left hip around. So squeeze your inner thighs together and bring your hips as square to the front of the mat as possible. Good. Warrior 2. Open. The left foot transitions to 90, and those hips open to the left. Again, soft in the shoulders, active through the fingertips. Reach back, reverse warrior. And then as we exhale, we're gonna shift your hips back first, straightening that front leg. And then now we're going to reach forward into triangle. So we're gonna reach way out with our right hand and then down to the ankle. And we're gonna find triangle pose. Trying to get our body as straight up and down as possible. Slight bend in the knees is okay to hit this position. Again, we don't ever want to find any position that brings us sharp pains or discomfort. We want to find just that edge of where it's challenging, starting to get a little bit spicy, and we just breathe into that pose and try to help create a little bit more space. Let's do a reverse triangle. Bring that left hand down to the mat, and right hand is going to twist up towards the sky. Take a couple breaths into this twist. Good. Bring both hands to the mat and walk to the left for straddle bend. Now all 10 toes are facing the left side of the mat, and we're just going to stay here and straddle bend. We're going to hinge at the hips and bring our torso as close to the mat as we can. Feel free here to take some minor modifications. Maybe you can turn your toes in, a little bit of a pigeon toe stance. Maybe you can come all the way down onto your forearms and get a nice deep hamstring and inner groin stretch. This will be the one pose we'll hold a little bit longer than 2 breaths. We're going to shoot for about 8 to 10 breaths in this straddle bend. We're in the desert and Christina's mat is covered in dust and she's about to end up in the splits if I leave her here very much longer. So let's start to heel toe your feet back together. Make your way up into a standing position and just rotate all 10 toes back towards the front of the mat. Keep that right foot out in front of the left. And we're going to set up for pyramid pose. So bring your hands to your low back, interlace your fingers behind your back, and hinge at the hips and forward fold into pyramid pose. If you have the space for it in your shoulders, you can lift those hands off of your back. And a little different transition here. We're going to skip this chaturanga. We've done, feels like about 100 of them. So next exhale, just bring your hands to the mat and then step back straight into that downward facing dog. Couple breaths to reset. All right, we're moving into the left side. Left leg steps up into the sky and then step through warrior 1. Reach high, sternum tucked down, neutral spine. Bring that left knee out over that ankle. Back foot's at 45 degrees. Open into warrior 2. Reverse warrior. Good, couple breaths. Again, we're shooting for 2 to 3 breaths in each pose. Straighten that front leg, shifting the hips back. Cartwheel over, reach far out towards the front of the mat and then down into triangle pose. And find that nice tall posture. Next, exhale, bring that right hand down to the mat. Left arm sweeps up into the sky for twisted triangle. And left hand meets the right on the mat. And we're going to go for straddle bend again. So, second straddle bend in the series, we give an option for inversion here. So you can stay in that straddle bend and take another straddle bend, or you can modify into triangle pose here. I'm sorry, not tripod here. We're to make a kind of a diamond shape on the mat between the two hands and the top of the head. And you're just starting out in that pose. Just try to bring your knees to the triceps and just barely start to float your toes off of the mat. Start playing around with having all of your body weight on the hands and the top of the head. You're going to notice here that the key is going to be finding the balance between shifting that torso forward and backwards to give the weight to the hands and not putting all of the weight on the top of your head just yet. More advanced yogis, you have the option to use your core strength here and lift your legs up into the sky and come all the way up into tripod headstand. Next time. Let's go ahead and rise up out of that. Let's come back up into standing. Bump our toes back to the front of the mat again. Left foot forward, set up for pyramid. Interlace the fingers behind the low back. And hinge at the hips, forward fold, pyramid pose. If you have space for it, lift those hands up off of the low back, shoulder stretch. Sun decided to jump out from behind the clouds. I think it just jumped up 5 degrees within the last 30 seconds.
That feels good.
Nice. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back into downward facing dog. So from down dog, we're going to hop to the front of the mat. Inhale up into standing, standard mountain pose, arms by your side. Set your feet in about hip width distance. Bring your hands to heart center. Start to pour into the left leg just a little bit more, and we're going to set up for right side tree pose. So tree pose, options, let's show all the options. Kickstand, the heel touches the left foot, toes remain on the ground for help in balance. You can start to just gently bring up a little bit more and put it into your calf here. Definitely, we don't ever want to put pressure right in the knee. So the next level up from this is to go ahead and go for full tree. Bring that heel into the inner thigh. And we really want to open that knee out straight 90 degrees to the right. Depending on pants, sometimes this is more challenging than other.
How much dirt?
How much dust you're covered in. There you go. A little fold over. And whenever you're nice and tall and balanced, you can grow your tree. So on all of these balance positions, we're going to look for a focal point, which in Sanskrit is dristi, so a focal point that is not moving. And you're going to find your breath. You're going to find your dristi, and you're going to try to hold this pose while still fully and deeply breathing. And release the pose and shake it out. Good. Inhale, arms overhead to reset. Exhale, bring them down through heart center. Tree left, standing on the right leg. Start to lift the left. Find that balance. Find the footing for you. Once you find your balance, your knee is open to the left. Grow your tree. Find your dristi. Find that breath again. We're thinking about a lot with the movement and the balance. We always want to come back and find that breath before we move again. and release the pose and shake it out. Good, one more balance on each side. So inhale, rise the arms up overhead to reset. Exhale, hands to heart center. So eagle right. So we're going to transition right arm under, right leg over, right arm under. Yes. And then we're going to like chair pose, send those hips back and down. And when we're in these eagle position, we really want to lift those elbows up out in front of the face, fingertips up towards the sky. A little bit more challenging balance for some. For some, the extra twist helps hold everything in nice and tight, and it's a little bit easier than the tree pose. And release and shake it out. Shake it out just for a second. Set up for tree pose on the other side. Hands to heart. Left leg over. Left arm under. And hips back and down. Sit into that eagle pose. Good. Next exhale, we're going to release the pose, shake it out. Inhale those arms overhead. Exhale all the way down into forward fold. Inhale into halfway lift. Exhale chaturanga. Go through the flow. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Let's push our shoulders out into high plank. And then slowly lower down into the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down. Very nice. Hands back by your side. We're set up for locust pose. So our first back bend of the day. So to prepare, let's just, before we go into full locust, I want you to just practice, maybe lift the shoulders off of the mat here just a little bit. So engage through that low back and just reach those hands up and back behind you. Good. Feel that low back engage and then release. Now leave those shoulders on the ground and just lift your toes off of the back with that low core. And your glutes and your hamstrings engage to lift and release that down to the mat. Now we're going to activate through the full body and pull both sides up at the same time into locust pose. We're going to hold that but continue to breathe. So inhale up. And then hold on the exhale. And then inhale, maybe lift a little higher. And then hold on the exhale. Inhale one more time, higher. And then exhale all the way down to the mat. Beautiful. We'll take it one step further. If bow pose is in your practice, you're just going to reach back and grab the ankles. And we're going to take that same transition. We're going to inhale and lift. And then we're going to exhale, try to hold that position. Inhale, lift a little bit higher, pressing the hands into the ankles into the hands, holding on the exhale. Last one, inhale higher, and then exhale, release it all the way to the mat. Let those feet windshield wiper side to side. Now transition over onto your back for bridge pose. So hips bump a little bit forward, pull the bottoms of your feet back close to the hips. Should be able to just barely touch your heels with your fingertips. And then inhale, lift those hips up high. Option to interlock your fingers below your sacrum. And again, we're going to inhale, press those hips high, and we're going to hold that pose on the exhale. Next inhale. Engage the glutes just a little bit more. Press up again. Exhale, hold the position. Let's take one more inhale here. Inhale and really press as much as you can. And then exhale, release that down to the mat. Again, we've got a slightly more advanced option for round 2. If wheel is in your practice, you'll reach back with your hands right behind your shoulders. And let's inhale and press all the way up into wheel pose. Or Bridge pose again. Nice. Breathing fully in and fully out. Holding the shape, holding the pose, not ever holding your breath. One more big inhale. And then on the exhale, let's relax down to the mat. Windshield wiper those knees side to side. So this whole thing has been a warm up until now. We are now thoroughly warmed up and ready to get to the workout of the flow. So this is ab series. So we're gonna start off nice and easy in waterfall. So we're just gonna extend our legs straight up into the air. Options here, you notice Christina brought hands under sacrum. You can also bring your hands to the back of your neck for prisoner pose, I think is what it's called. But we're gonna flex our toes back towards our face. So we're driving our heels up into the sky. And we're gonna do a handful of leg lifts. Alternating leg lifts are a little bit easier. If you've got the gusto, let's go for both legs at the same time. And we're gonna do 10 times. So just go ahead, and we're coming all the way down to just about an inch above the ground and then back up. And we're gonna inhale up and exhale down. Good, inhale back up, that's 2. Let's keep going. Move at your breath, but let's get 10. That's 3. Flex those toes back towards the face and keep flowing. And up, exhaling down, inhaling up. Really building up some heat here and having some fun doing it. I lost count, so let's get 3 more.
13.
Nice. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up. Last one, just for the fun of it, let's exhale down and hold, hold, hold. Pull that belly in tight and release and relax to the mat. Good job. Okay, next thing we're going to do a handful of high boat to low boat. So low boat is going to be similar to locust pose, but you're laying on your back and you're just going to lift the shoulders and the legs off the ground. So low boat or hollow body. Nice long hold here. Good. You're right. Arms by your side. Now relax back to the mat again. Good job. All right, this time we're gonna go to low boat, hold it just for a second, and now pop up into high boat. So we're gonna rise up onto our hips. We're gonna do our best job to keep our shins flat. Yes, toes can point away. And this is a good high boat pose. Go ahead and relax back down to the mat. So that's both of the positions. Now, let's gather our breath. Let's gather our willpower. And let's pop all the way up into high boat. And then now let's move with the breath, inhaling up, exhaling down to low boat, right back up into high boat on the inhale. And then exhale down to low boat, shoot for 10. There we go, 3. I'll be nice and count for real this time. That's 4, high boat, low boat, 5, 6. Come on, keep flowing. There you go, little modification to reach and grab the back of your thighs if you need to. These start to get spicy real fast. Good, come on. Get it, good. And relax. Nice work. Windshield wiper those legs side to side.
How do you windshield wiper your abs?
Windshield wiper the abs. I think that's called doing the worm. So let's see it. All right, this next sequence, inversion series. So we're basically on an inversion series. We're going to give your choice of inversion. So what we're going to do on this video is just show a couple of different inversions. But what you want to do is you want to find a nice inversion that feels comfortable for you. And you're just going to hold that for somewhere between 10 to 30 breaths. So Let's roll back into shoulder stand first. And you're just going to roll back and pop up onto your shoulders. Hands can be at the side or down right below. And then in shoulder stand, our toes point up into the sky, straight up into the air as best as possible. If you just did a whole lot of abs, that might be a little bit harder to do. So there you go. There's a nice shoulder stand. All right, let's roll forward and let's show tripod one more time. So tripod, find a nice good pyramid, hands wide, head a little bit taller, good. Slowly bring your knees to the triceps, slowly lift the toes off of the ground, and then we're gonna use our core here. I'm just gonna support you, and lift, stick your legs up into the sky. And again, we're really using our core here to start practicing giving the pressure evenly between the head and the hands. Beautiful. Bring your hands down to or feet down to the floor. Last inversion, let's show the one, your bread and butter, forearm headstand. So you'll notice she just interlocks her fingers on the back of her head. Notice the top of the head comes to the ground, not the forehead. Same thing, she's gonna kick a little bit more this time. So when you first start playing around with this headstand, there it is, there's your stack. Practice kicking up onto a wall, somewhere nice and if you have somebody to spot you to get you there. Find your balance, and then you're using your core strength to hold the position. But kicking up into a wall is always a really good start for inversions. You want to find the inversion of your choice, and then hold again for 10 to 30 breaths, and then ease on out of it. So we've been there for long enough for this one. All right. Now that we've done our abs and our inversion, we can start bringing the intensity down a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go right into hip series. So let's make our way back into downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, you're gonna kind of rock forward into that high plank and bring your right knee forward for half pigeon. And we're gonna take that shin and get it as parallel with the top of the mat as possible. Square those hips to the ground. Take your time setting up for this half pigeon. If you have the space, you can come down to forearms or lower. Christina's got a big smile on her face because this is not her bread and butter. She's got some really tight hips. Beautiful. Look for about 10 breaths on each side here. Long, deep breaths. We're coming out of that ujjayi breath now, and we're just coming back into a gentle pranayama breath. We're sticking with that in through the nose, out through the nose. But we really want to signal to our body now that we're coming into a state of rest. So go ahead and make your way back up into that downward facing dog position. Step back. If it feels nice, you can take your right leg up into the sky and do a couple of hip circles here if that half pigeon is really spicy for you. And bring that right foot back to the ground and work that left knee forward and find half pigeon on the left side. Again, take a few seconds. Find your shape, find your balance, find your position. Working your toe tips towards the back of the mat on the right leg. And then working those hips down closer to the mat. Coming down to the forearms if it's possible. If this position is nice and easy for you, maybe can Lay your chest flat on the ground in this position. Again, just like in the active poses, we don't want to push the intensity too far. We want to find that edge of discomfort in the active poses, not to cause pain, not to cause damage. Same goes for the stretch on the back side of the flow when we're taking it nice and easy. We don't ever want to get to a point to where we're stretching so hard that we're causing pain. The same thing, we want to find that edge, and we want to deepen the breath and lengthen the breath and try to create some space by staying right on that edge of discomfort and breathing into it. Let's transition back up into downward facing dog. Take a big deep breath here, maybe a couple of left hip circles if it feels nice. And then our next position, we're just going to go into seated with our legs straight out in front of us on the mat. We're going to take a nice long forward fold here. To set for the forward fold, maybe bring your hands right down on the mat next to you. Make sure that you're on your sit bones. And let's get nice and tall through our torso. Let's inhale our hands overhead. And let's hinge at the hips. And let's exhale forward into forward fold. Let's keep our back straight just for as long as we can. Maybe we take another inhale and then we exhale again, trying to just get a little bit more out of this before we totally round the back and relax into it. By about the third exhale, you can go ahead and relax and round into the shape. Once we've reached the bottom and we are fully in this forward fold, I invite you to take 10 long, slow breaths. All right, on your next inhale, you're going to slowly rise back up to a seated position. And we're going to allow our knees to bend and bump our hips forward again so we can lay back onto our mat. First here, we're going to hug our knees into our chest. Maybe roll side to side, giving ourselves a little massage here. Maybe reach up and grab our feet for happy baby. Pull those knees down into your armpits. And get your back as flat on the floor as you can here. Again, so maybe rocking side to side, up and down. Just whatever feels nice here. You put in a lot of good hard work today. Now we're just giving ourselves a little hug, a little pat on the back. Some rest and relaxation. Go ahead and bring those knees back into your chest. Let's extend your left leg straight on the ground. And we're going to take supine twist. You're going to take that right knee across your body all the way to the ground, and then extend your right arm back out and gaze to the right. And take a few deep, long breaths here. On your next inhale, let's bring both knees back to our chest in the center. And then exhale that right leg out straight. And bring your left knee across the body. Left arm straightens out back and gazes to that left hand. And take a few long breaths here. Next inhale, let's bring those knees back into our chest. Give ourselves one final hug. Take a couple of big deep breaths here. Extend both legs down onto the mat into final resting pose. Relax your arms by your side. Maybe take up a little bit more of the mat and just get comfortable. Take up as much of your floor as you want. Relax through the ankles, through the knees, through the hips. Relax your hands, your forearms, your biceps and triceps. Relax your shoulders down to the floor. Make sure you're not holding any tension in your neck, in your jaw, in your face. Let go of everything. Melt into your mat. Take a big deep breath in together as we wiggle our fingers and toes. Bring a little bit of movement back into our body. Maybe take your arms overhead for a nice good morning stretch. Slowly roll to one side. And then whenever you're ready, make your way up to a comfortable seat. Eyes closed and hands at heart center. Let's close today's practice with just a couple of big deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, and then open mouth, exhale, and let it all out. I want you to inhale and imagine that air coming in, cleansing and scrubbing away all the tension and stress. And your open mouth, big exhales, just let it all out, detoxifying your system. Thank you so very much for practicing with me today. The light within me honors and sees the light within you. Together we say, Namaste. Thank you, everybody. We will be putting out more yoga videos. So comment below if you specifically liked anything, didn't like anything. As we are starting to put out content, any feedback is super grateful and very helpful. So thank you so much. Love you. Namaste.